Okay, Milanji, good to see you. Why you were
Oh,
late?
oh, same here. I was editing the document actually.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm still missing a couple of people. I don't know. Um, okay, Manoj is here. All right, now I
Good
see.
morning.
Good morning. So, guys, we start 8 o'clock. American time or say Nepali time, not the Indian time. Indian time is always half an hour later. I was doing my bachelor in New Delhi engineering. So in Delhi language, people would say, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. 10 minutes means half an hour. It's never on time. So, okay, Rosil, where have you been? See, I was missing you in the class.
Sorry, like something wrong with my computer, and then
You
I ended
sure?
up messing it
Not
up.
not yesterday night's late party? No?
No,
All right.
nothing like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So yeah. Um so just recap from last week a little bit. So we did URS and FRS as a team. You guys have been working on URS and FRS document. We had a review session. In review class, we had two teams who presented their URS and FRS. I had some comments. Two other teams have not submitted their URS and FRS yet. After looking at review. So Manojji and Rosil, just give me quick update on where you at, and we can proceed from there.
Sir, we've almost finished the document, and our TA has looked at it too, and he says good for go.
Okay.
But we kind of want to add some more US and FRS
Requirements, yeah, requirements,
requirements.
which
Yes,
is good.
yes.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I didn't like 30-page URS anyway to start with. So yeah.
Yeah, we are working on that. So we are adding some more requirements. Need to meet our group meet for some time, 2-3 times, and it will be done.
Okay. Did you guys spend some time this weekend on URS and FRS
Yes,
as a team?
we've been trying, sir.
Okay, good. Rosil,
Oh, hi. Yeah, actually, I am editing, sir. Editing is my part, and I am doing that. So I am having some problem with header. So I'm
okay.
just trying to fix it, and I'll submit it maybe like within half an hour and 1 hour today.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's proceed further. Today's class is very important class again. And, I wanted all of you to be in the class. And so this is week 2 workshop. So can all of you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Computerized system.
That's correct. Okay. So let's get into subject matter. Today, we are going to understand and study about risk. What is risk? And, why we talk about risk in this industry? What is the importance of risk? What does it do? And before we get there, first we have to get into basic question, like what is risk? What do you guys understand by risk? Can somebody tell me in your own language or in your own understanding, what do you understand by risk? Now, some people understand risk. I mean, everybody understands risk in their own perspective, in own different ways. But I want to hear your, thoughts or version, before we start. What do you understand by risk?
I would say like taking a chance. Like it's risky, it's taking a chance,
All right.
consequences chance.
Taking a chance, that means now I understand, you are taking a chance all the time, letting a meat go.
That's a risk.
That's a risk. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So anybody else wants to say what is risk? What do you understand by risk? In
Okay,
your
sir.
own mind, tell me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll try to mention it that virus will damage the system, and sometimes power fluctuation damage our program like this, and sometimes information theft like this. I understand this way, but I don't have pretty a lot knowledge about the computer system. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Very good. I liked your expression about risk, how you think, but come on. Some more people wants to say.
Can I
Uh,
say?
oh,
Yes.
can
Go
I
ahead,
go?
one by one. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think it's some kind of danger, loss,
Okay.
possibility to lose something.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Good try. Okay, Sonisha.
Yeah, I also agree. It's the possibility of losing, but the more risks you take, the more profit you're gonna make. So
Wow, that's I like. Okay. Shonika, what did you want to say?
Yeah, if I have to understand risk, for me, it's a probability of threat or involving exposure to danger.
Very
It could
good.
be in project or in tool or in procedure.
Very good. Anybody else wants to say something about risk?
In plain language, we can call it a travel toward uncharted territory, where you
Okay.
have chances of winning and losing both.
Very good. Very good.
That's the practical way of looking at it. I don't know
Yes.
how we call it in technical language. That there might be something different on this, but that is how I take it.
Very good. Very good. Anybody else wants to say something about risk? Okay. So risk is a very vast subject. Very vast. In regulated industry, risk is also very, very important, and why we'll talk in a bit. But let me give you first background. You guys are studying for becoming a validation engineer, but you can also become a risk engineer, which gets paid more than validation engineer, let me tell you. But you have to understand the risk, how this risk work. So if you hear in regulated industry or in pharmaceuticals, biotech, medical device, it calls GAM5, and GAM5 is all about risk-based approach. So GAM5 came in 2008 into this industry, into this regulated industry. And GAM5, the main motto is risk-based approach, how to go further with risk-based approach. Now, in a layman word, risk, and we'll dig into this subject today, that's our almost 3 hours of class. But I want you guys to understand that, risk is everywhere, everywhere you see, it's mostly risk-based approach.
Yeah.
And things are based on risk-based approach. and there is tools to analyze the risk. There are various tools to analyze the risk. In pharma, biotech, medical device company, the risk is analyzed very, very deeply. You all have to, as a validation engineer, you all have to understand and participate in the risk, how to do risk. Now, when you are a process validation engineer, then you have to do risk heavily. If you are device equipment validation engineer, you have to understand risk more. But in computer system validation, risk is not that much considerable, but you still need to understand and how it affects. So in layman word, risk is something, and then it comes, mitigation. So risk and mitigation. What is the risk and what is mitigation? So in day-to-day life, people does things, and you all think as a risk. Like say somebody is doing buying some stocks. What is stocks? It's more based on risk-based approach. What is the risk you can take? How much risk you want to take? What is your risk, capacity? All those things. All the industries work with this risk, especially if you see pharma, biotech came later into this subject. Before, it used to be more like, if you go and see aerospace engineering, there is risk, heavily used. If you see automotive industry, you will see it's heavily used. So one of the example I gave you, and it's a very simple example that where does it start from? So when cars gets into accident, they find out that we need to put some airbags, to eliminate the risk of people dying, because they figured out, they did a lot of research, and they come up with that most of the people die because they hit their head when accident happens, and once they get hit their head, they tends to die. So they started putting airbag as a mitigation of risk. How to mitigate a risk. So they put airbag. So you see now it became a law. Every auto have to have airbag. Government made it a law that every auto have to have that airbag. Without airbag, you cannot sell your auto. Then they came up with another analysis, and they said that even though there is airbag, but people can be saved more if they put seat belt. So most of the states, they put seat belt as a mandatory, that hey, you have to put seat belt, and made a law that if you're not putting seat belt, you guys gonna get the ticket. But still, some people didn't want to use seatbelt. It seems like, it tie you up. It's like you're in a jail. So then Japanese industry first came, Japanese automotive industry came first with mitigation, that unless you put that seatbelt, it will keep on alarming. And they are forced to put that seatbelt, I often see my wife, when she comes next to my seat, she have to put the seat belt because it's making noise, it's alarm, giving alarm. So she's always irritated. Oh, stop the alarm. I'm putting it, hold on. But, it forces you to put the seat belt. Do you think, where did it came from? It came from risk-based approach, the risk analysis, and how you can mitigate the risk. A few months ago, I just visited Nepal, and I went to that airport, and in airport, they build a lift to go down. You know, when you arrive, from arrival to going on the ground floor, they have just one lift, and all of the sudden, hundreds of people comes, and engineers, they didn't think of that what if more than 20 people gonna come at a time, how we gonna handle that? And I saw a big line waiting people for 2 hours, and to get out, because there was no other way, only one lift. So there was no risk-based approach thought of before. So you are in a first world, and everything here is based on risk-based approach. What is the risk? What can go wrong? And how we can mitigate that risk? So every product you're gonna see in this industry, let it be a medicine, let it be device, let it be equipment, everything is risk-based approach. And that's when they come up with wonderful mitigations, where and very intelligent mitigation, when you get surprised that, oh my God, why did they do this? But if you look back, it's to eliminate the risk of so many things, of basically patient safety, data integrity, and product quality. These are the three mantra where they have to understand the risk, and then they have to mitigate the risk. So that's what the risk is all about. So we're going to get deeper into the risk today. Before I go, any other question you guys have? Anything? Okay. So let's go and dig in. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody said something? No? Okay. Yes, Arjunji. That's good. But where are you in the background? Your video is not working?
Sorry, I was on a.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. I was on a call with my parents. It was just a quick call. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
No problem. Yeah.
Since I was not talking, I
You check.
paused my video. Yeah.
Sure, no problem. Yeah. So you're right. What you think or understand is right. So, but risk, we have to, how we going to analyze the risk? There is a way, there is an engineering way to analyze the risk. And that's what we're going to understand, that what are those tools, how we analyze the risk, I mean, I can say, hey, I'm getting drunk. I was at my friend's house yesterday, I was taking more than 2 glasses of wine. And right away in my mind, I thought that, oh, I have a risk to drive, and my wife, she's getting drunk too. So, there is a risk. And, then I think that, okay, what can happen? So, maybe there is police, who gonna find me driving kind of, drunk driver, and he gonna catch me, and then he can take me to jail. There is, law against drunken driving. So all these things comes in my mind. So I want to stop after 3 glasses of wine. So that's it. I cannot drink more than 3 glasses of wine because I have to drive. So in day-to-day life, we are seeing things as a, everything, we seeing things as a risk, and we analyze it in our own mind. And, and then we also find with our own intelligence, what is the mitigation, in day-to-day life. I mean, There is another example, Krista let her, man go to club, and there is a risk that, he might find another beautiful girl. He start talking to her, and then who knows what's going to happen. But so, mitigation is she's not letting him go alone to the club. Oh, I want to come with you. That's a mitigation, So you're not going to talk to anybody. Day-to-day life, we have risk, and we all find some mitigation around it. Anything, I'm taking my child here. I think about what is my risk. I need to put a car seat. I need to put, seat belt before I can drive, things like that. So we all are familiar with it, but we just don't know in engineering language how to put these things together, how to analyze it, and how to find the mitigation. And so in regulated industry, you have to write it down, everything. And that's what we're going to learn and understand, how to write it down, all those things. There is a, when I came to my kitchen, my son dropped his glass and it broke. And then right away, I started thinking, what is the risk? And how I can mitigate this? So I choose to have a plastic glass for my kids. That's my mitigation. Am I right? So in day-to-day life, we all getting, exposed to the risk, and we all, mitigate in our own way. But now going forward, you guys are going to learn what are those, things which, how you analyze the risk, based on what, and how you put it in an engineering language, and then how you come up with mitigation. So that's what we're going to discuss and brainstorm a lot. And I want all of you guys to get involved, ask the questions, because it's a really, really important class. Again, if you understand the risk, you will be a step ahead in this industry, because the risk-based approach came 2008. So all the validation engineers working from before, they are not as much familiar with the risk. So if you know the risk, if you can talk about the risk, they're going to hire you right away, in this industry, because you are needed. So there are various tools about the risk, and we're going to talk about that. So today's learning objective is the components of the risk assessment process. What are the components? How you analyze the risk? System level risk and requirement risk assessment. So there is two levels of risk. First, you have system. So you need to analyze the risk of system first. That what is the risk? What is the system level risk I have? And then you're gonna dig deeper, go down, further down, and then you're gonna analyze requirements. Each requirements you wrote just now, each URS and FRS you wrote has to be analyzed the risk. And that's what we're gonna study today. The recommended risk approach, how to determine severity, probability, and detectability. So here you go. There is 3 new words in your life. And these 3 words you have to understand to its core. What is severity? What is probability? What is detectability? So risk is analyzed based on various tools, but most famous tool is FMEA. It calls FMEA failure mode and effective analysis. It calls, remember, failure mode and effective analysis. So FMEA, there are various FMEA, like PFMEA, UFMEA, DFMEA. PFMEA is process effective mode and analysis. Failure mode and effective analysis. DFMEA is design failure mode and effective analysis. UFMEA is usability failure mode and effective analysis. But you don't need to understand all those. You just gonna, because if you want to become a risk engineer, I can take those classes in advanced class. And also there is a document called hazard analysis. So also hazard analysis is done before FMEAs. So that is also, into this industry. And again, if you want to become a risk engineer, then only you need to learn those. For validation engineer, you just gonna learn FMEA, failure mode and effective analysis. And that is also not in a extensive way. Risk engineers are rewarded very well. Again, if you become risk engineer, if you know this risk, your starting base salary is 150K. But there's a lot of intelligence needs to bring into it. A lot of thinking needs to bring into it. So the main component of the risk will be severity, probability, and detectability. And as long as you understand these three words, you will be able to, understand the risk. So we'll dig deeper into what is severity, what is probability, what is detectability. Can anybody try and tell me in a layman word, how can you relate these words with the risk in your day-to-day life?
Durga sir, can I say severity as a criticality? Can I call that?
Uh-huh.
So,
good.
I mean, like in criticality, like, severity is the how low and the high risks, like the system is working. Can I call that severity as a criticality?
Sure, sir. Yes, but I'll give you more detail when we go inside and dig deeper. But yes, you are kind of touching it. Yeah.
Okay,
Criticality is, severity. Anybody else wants to say anything? I mean, what is
Yeah.
probability? What is detectability? Go ahead.
Yeah, severity means to what degree it gonna affect the project or something, and probability of occurring that that risk, and detectability, it is traceable or not before happening.
Very good, Milanji.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Anybody else?
Can we say severity is intense? How
Okay.
intense is it?
Okay. Intensity. Yes. Very good, Girijaji. Yeah. Sonisha?
I took severity, but probability means possibility, and detectability means maybe like which can be traceable or inspect like that.
Very good. Very good. Krista, your way.
Severity is I was trying to like do this in it. Severity is like how much, like how severe. I always want to say severe. I think I always do that. How severe, how hard it's going to be, how hard are you going to be hit, how severe it is.
Okay.
Probability is how is it going to happen, and detectability is how are you going to trace it. Like
Very good. Very good. Anybody else? David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I would say severity is, the level of impact that something is going to have. So low, medium, or high. Probability is the likelihood of it happening. And then detectability just means, is there something that you can, or there are certain steps that you can take to probably mitigate it?
Okay.
Or like to possibly see it happening. Like, is it something that's going to happen without you noticing? Is it something that's going to completely affect the system and you can, catch it right off the hand? Or
better? Yes, better. Very good. Very good. Anybody else? Arpanji, Nayanji?
I see this as, planning and root cause and then elimination kind of thing. Probability, you go from the planning, what is going to happen in the whole system. And then detectability, you see how to eliminate those obstacles or whatever. And severity, the effect, how that thing is going to affect the whole thing, what you are doing, or the what is the risk involved there. So if you plan properly with the probability and detect the problem, and then you will be reducing the result outcome, negative outcome, I should say, severity. So
close, but not enough.
Okay.
We'll dig deeper into it. Roshan, any thought? Roshan Acharya?
Yeah, severity is kind of like the scope of the issue. So how big is the problem from a scale of, low to high, probability, possibility, like what's the possibility of that happening? And then detectability is like how easy is it to find out about the problem? So
very good, very good, much closer. Chaitanya, any thoughts? Speak up.
Yeah, the same. The severity is how much risk affects the project, and probability is what are the chances, how many times it can happen.
Very
and
good.
Detectability is how to detect. Is it easily to detect or is it difficult to detect? We have
Very
to rate
good.
that from low to high.
I like it, what I hear. Very good. Resamji, your thoughts? Just tell me what you understand right now. And then, of course, don't be worried. I'm going to correct you guys going forward. You're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just turned the camera. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Severity means how serious risks are involved. Like just other guys said, low, medium, high.
Very
how
good.
serious risks are involved in the field where we work. Like there are so many different fields. Risk also impact the same way. And probability means I understand like how possible it, how much possible, like whether it is really a possibility to, just like you said, the car, when you drink and drive, how probability. This kind of probability means is the kind of mathematics probability, how much chances to get caught, right?
Okay.
And detectability, like other guys said, how it is detected or not. That's all I know. Thank you.
Okay, good thinking. Anybody else wants to say?
I wanted to say, like, severity goes for the level of risk. What is the level of the risk will be, and the probability will be like, what are the chances of the risk that will happen? How bad and good are the chances? And the detectability is how fast you can see, you can trace or track the risk.
Sure.
I would go with that three.
Sure, Manojji. Good job, Manojji. You are thinking now, not only singing. I'm
Thank you,
proud of
sir.
you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
Sagarji. Sagar Thapa. Okay. You're on mute. Okay, so let's move on. So we have, so risk is analyzed in several layers. So we first gonna talk about system level risk, and then we're gonna talk about each and every functionality, requirement risk assessment. Each and every functionality, what is the risk of each and every functionality of that system? So that calls RRA, and system level risk calls SLR. So get used to these words. When somebody talk about SLR, what is SLR? It's a system level risk. And somebody talk about RRA, do you know how to do RRA? If somebody gonna ask you, then you understand that it's a risk, a requirement risk assessment. requirements risk assessment process means each and every requirement level risk and updating existing risk. By the way, if you guys not gonna understand each and everything, don't be worried, because in real world, the risk, you as a validation engineer, you're gonna be only participating. You cannot do this unless you are a validation lead. But you know, better you understand, better you're gonna connect and get involved into this validation engineering. So it's a very important part. So let's go dig deeper now and clear our head and understand it better. So steps to requirement risk assessment. There is one step, it calls, SOP. This determine the system level risk. Then you have SOP. This use the system level risk and GAMP category to determine whether a requirements risk assessment is recommended or not. Then you have SOP, which tells you how to perform a requirement risk assessment. So there is 3 things here you have to understand. Basics.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
As you said, there's like different SOP and 3 different steps. Is the number standard across different industries?
No. So number can vary. Yeah, number can vary. It's just an example here, from one of the company from this industry. But these numbers can change.
Okay.
Very good. I see in chat I have okay. So yeah, Arjunji, you kept telling me. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So let's go dig deeper into it. So what is this? Why we need to determine system level risk? So we need to determine, so does every system needs to be analyzed? Does every system, in other way, does every system need requirement risk assessment? And the answer of that is no. So how can you know that which system needs a requirement risk assessment and which system doesn't? And that's why first thing you have to do is you have to do system level risk. What is my system level risk? If my system level risk is high, then requirement level risk is required. If my system level risk is medium, requirement risk assessment is recommended. If my system level risk is low, then requirement risk assessment is not required, not even recommended. Am I right? So in the same way, in life, you see what is the risk. If you're driving the car, there is a risk, more. If you have electricity in your home, there is more risk. Your kids can put their finger, so you protect it. Am I right? But is there any risk on the wall? A structured wall? Maybe it's medium or low. So you don't need requirement risk assessment for that. So, all those things are determined on a system level risk first. That what is my system level risk? Do we need to do requirement risk assessment or not? So that's what you determine in step 1, your system level risk. In your step 2, you based on system level risk and GAMP category, which we'll talk about, systems GAMP category, and determine whether requirement risk assessment is recommended or not. And then in your step 3, if it is recommended or required, then you do requirement risk assessment, because these things takes time, a lot of resource, a lot of money, because a lot of engineers has to work together in order to do these risks. And that's why these 3 steps needs to be first done before you can move and do requirement risk assessment. What determines the need of risk assessment? So recommended deliverables by SLR and GAMP category. So requirement risk assessment, if it's GAMP category 5, 4, 3. So now first you need to understand what is GAMP category and why we think that risk is required. So every system is categorized based on GAMP, good automated manufacturing practice. That's a standard. So based on GAMP 5, each and every system is divided into 4 categories. Category 1, category 2, category 2 is gone. So category 1, category 3, category 4, category 5. So any system. So why category 1? Why category 3? Why category 4? Why category 5? So take a note that category 5 have more risk because category 5 is a custom system. Can anybody tell me what does custom system means?
Designed for like a specific process or task.
Nope.
Custom normally we apply with the thing that comes built in with that system or whatever it is there.
Okay.
Normally in general practice, we custom made kind of. I relate.
Yes. You relate with the custom made thing,
Exactly.
And that's what it is. The custom means. So remember when I said in class 1 and class 2 that, so these companies, pharmaceutical, biotech, medical device company, they are not software or system. They don't make system. They make medicine or devices or equipment. They don't make software. They don't make systems. So what they do, they buy software from other companies, from vendors. So when they buy, then if they have to do custom, means they have to put some code. Oh, as is, I cannot use your system. I need to put some more features. So that means they have to put new codes into the system. The moment they have to put the new codes, that becomes custom system. And custom system have more risk because you're putting some code. Yes, putting some code. Then you have category 4, which says configurable system. Configurable system means you're not doing any custom. You are getting the system from those software companies and you configure in the back. So you're not changing the code. You are just configuring for your company's purpose. So that is configurable system. And system 3 is also calls, and also 4 calls SaaS system. Category 3 calls COTS. 1 and 3 calls COTS system. What is COTS? Commercial out of the shelf. You don't need to configure. You don't need to put any code. You don't need to custom. You just use it as is. It comes ready. You just use it. Like, you are getting SIM card in your phone, for example. SIM card, you don't do anything. It's a COTS. You just take it and insert it and start using. You don't need to do any changes in the software or coding of it. But configurable system, you need to configure. Custom system, you have to configure and you have to add some new code. So going further from 1 to 5 have a more risk. 4 have little lesser risk. and 1 and 3 have no risk. Am I right? Because it's already COT system. You're not gonna play with the code or configuration. So these are the system categories, based on GAMP5. So higher the number you go, you have more risk, and that's what you need to understand. And so that's why, if it's a GAMP category 5, that means it's a high and you have to do it. If GAMP category 4, it's medium. GAMP category 3, it's low. 3, you don't need to do it. So it says this SOP indicates that requirement risk assessment is recommended for your system, and the team decides not to perform a risk assessment, then all requirements and functions will need to be tested with the highest rigor. So some company decides, okay, I don't have people who knows risk, because risk is a very tedious job, and it takes months to do the risk assessment. So they decide, okay, I'm not going to do the risk, and I'm going to just test every requirement on a rigorous base, highest rigor. And I have offshore team in India. I have engineers who can do rigorous testing, so I don't need to put people into make risk assessment and spend so much money, because sometimes some system risk you are doing, it can go up to 6 months. So many time, resource you putting there to analyze the risk, and spending 6 month time. So some company may decide that, hey, I'm going to just do rigorous testing for each and every requirement, and that's their call. They can take it, that call, and you as a validation engineer, you become part of it. But if they decide they're going to do the risk, which is very important, encouraged by FDA and all the regulated industries, that hey, you better go risk-based approach. You analyze the risk of your system. So in that way, we're going to have better control on your system. Because some systems have a direct impact on patient safety, data integrity, and product quality. So especially these pharma, biotech, med devices, people can die. Am I right? If something goes wrong in your system, people can die. It has a direct impact on a patient. So they say, hey, why don't you do the risk? And they encourage to do the risk. But still some companies, because they don't have people who knows risk, how to do these risks, that's why they keep on skipping. And, oh, okay, we will do all the rigorous testing because we have cheap engineer, to do that. If I need to hire somebody who knows risk, I have to pay them top dollar. So they try to avoid it, and they have the choice, but it's not recommended. Any question, concern before we move to system level risk?
Yes, would you please elaborate about GAMP 1 and 3? Are they the same?
So GAMP 1 is infrastructures. It's by nature, it's the same, because both are COTS, commercial out of the self. When you say COT system, means commercial out of the self. Commercial out of the self means you're not touching the code, you're not touching the configuration. You are going to use as is. So that's what the COT systems are. But there are little bit difference between 1 and 3, and we will dig into it in another class, GAMP category. So right now, focus on risk more. Okay.
Group sir.
Yes.
What is the full form of COTS?
Commercial out of the self. COT systems are commercial out of the self.
Self usually SCLF or SCLF.
SCLF.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are there any other categories, or just we're looking for GAMP category only? Or are there any?
Yeah, for system, you have only 4 categories right now. Category 1, 3, 4, and 5. There was 5 category, 2 has been removed by FDA. So only 4 category you can put those systems into. So yeah, we'll
my
dig
question
deeper.
was, are there any other categories like, GAMP, like GAMP? Are there any other like GAMP? GAMP?
No, there's only
Okay.
one GAMP. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But GAMP, right now, the GAMP 5 is what we follow. It's like our Bible. But it was before GAMP 4, GAMP 3, GAMP 2, GAMP 1. So this is how we, grow up. So now we are in a generation 5 of GAMP.
So every pharmaceutical company has to follow GAMP5 category, right?
That's correct. You're right, Samiksha. You're smart, girl. Not only pharma, also biotech, med device, everybody has to follow GAMP5. And did I uploaded GAMP5 document in your class?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Yeah. So as your time permits, you guys can go and start reading through GAMP5 book, and it costs money, but I gave you guys for free. So keep it as a Bible, download it in your computer. Since you're going to become a validation engineer, you will need that reference of GAMP5. GAMP5 is our Bible. Okay. And we go
How
by
do you
books.
determine 1 to 5? Maybe you are saying 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you determine what is what? I'm new to this, so.
Yes. Yeah, we will dig deeper into those in another class. So GAMP category, we will talk about it when we learn validation plan.
Okay.
That's when you need to, define what is my GAMP category of my system.
Got it.
What it's gonna be. Yeah. But right now, we're still gonna focus on the risk. So,
Sir.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to just pinpointedly know the actual, if somebody asks me what is risk, so how do I say it in, validation language?
You tell me.
Okay. It goes that way. No, because we just talked about the risk and mitigation, but
okay,
what will be the actual technical word?
Let's first understand the risk, and then you can come up with your own definition.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No
Sir.
problem. Yes.
So
Yes, Razil.
I'm just trying to understand. So the assignment that we did, writing about the URS and FRS. So it's more customized, right? I mean, like we were more thinking about the user. So does that mean that we will be using GAMP5 or
for your label
the
printer?
For the label printer?
Yeah, label printer falls into category 4. So based on your requirements, they will configure it for you. You don't need to get customized.
Okay. They means
Vendor, the software company, whom you're gonna buy the product label printer, like if you're buying from HP or Zebra or whatever company you're gonna buy, they will configure it for you based on your requirements.
Okay.
So every URS and FRS fall of the label printer falls under GAMP4, or like there are some of the URS?
Yeah, you see, label printer is GAMP4 category in general. But if you want anything specific, anything out of the box, out of the world which is existing there in the market, then they have to custom it for you. And they will tell you that, hey, in this case, in this requirements, I have to custom this system for you. Because, we don't have ready code for that, whatever specification you are asking. So that's why, once you know your requirements, that's when you're going to find out whether your system will be customized, or system will be configured, or system will be COTS. For example, when you go and buy a printer in Best Buy, and you just come and download and you run, that's a COTS. commercial out of the shelf. You use it as is. Am I right? You don't do any changes. You don't configure that. But if you need more features in your label printer, that time they have to configure it for you. But if you want more feature, then they have to custom it for you. But they already thought through a lot of features. You know, they have 5,000 features. So sometimes whatever you want, they got it covered. You know, they don't want to put code, because the moment they start putting code, new code or custom it, they have to go through standard measures, and they have to treat it as a custom system, which have more risk and more control they need. So that's why they prefer all these, you see Silicon Valley, all these big software companies, all these companies are working day and night to give you mostly SaaS system, configurable system, because they already got your requirements covered. But in case something changes, then of course they have to custom it. So that's how it's connected. So when you wrote your URS and FRS, that's when you will know what kind of system I am looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, sure.
SaaS, you mean that software as service?
Yes,
Okay.
software as service.
Okay.
That is your configurable system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything you work on that these days.
Yes. So most of the systems you have SaaS system,
yeah,
which is configurable system, because these company got it covered for you, all the requirements. But still, you can have a unique requirements, or special requirements which these companies are not aware of. At that time, they have to custom it for you. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Dhruv sir, please, I have a question.
Please.
We are using the word custom or customize. Still, I am fighting with the word. I need to understand the word custom first. You defined before, but still I have a trouble to understand it without this word, meaning of this word. I am unable to understand other system over here.
No problem. Let me tell you, you buy your glass, am I right?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Sometimes, I go and buy my glass. I use reading glass. So I buy it from my Costco because I know my, vision needs 1.5. Okay. So there is already those glasses in the market. Even I can buy in CVS or, everywhere. Okay. But if I have, it's a reading, it's a, short distance looking. But if you need to see further, you have to get it customized. That means you have to go to doctor. Then doctor will prescribe you what is your point. Then they're going to build the glass for you, a special glass for you. So that you are customizing. And you're buying it as is. That means it's like already configured for you. You just go and buy it.
Okay.
You don't need to go through all those, waiting period and all those. So every product, same thing happens in software. Every product, if it's a product ready, if you want to use as is, that is your COT system or SaaS system. But if you need to do some changes because of your special need, then it's a customized system.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
You got it? Okay. Yes, Ravi sir, you had some questions.
Yeah, I was putting it more in perspective. Like we buy a car and we wanted to have moonroof on it.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. So we buy a car as is from the Toyota.
Yes.
And then Toyota will find a vendor, or we will go to a mechanic.
Yes.
And put moonroof on, sunroof on it.
Yes.
So that is customized according to my choice.
Yes. If it's not already there, then they have to
not built on.
Yeah. Yep. It's not built on in that a specific model, then they have to go and customize it for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you pay a certain amount of money, and then that risk is involved there.
Risk is involved there. It's more risk because, it might interfere with the structure. It might interfere with the core, components.
Exactly.
So that's why, yeah. So that's why, if you are a custom system, you have more risk, and you have to analyze the risk before you do it. Am I right?
Yep.
So that's what it is. Arjun sir, does it make sense now?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
I understand. I was thinking it is legal word we use in the legal system, like a how to say parampara, like this.
Yes, yes.
No, this is not Birganjan Raksal Bansar custom or parampara. This is a different kind of custom we are talking about. I'm sorry. I'm just lighting up the environment.
Yes. We need that sometimes. Remember, Arjun sir, we encourage to have some laugh and some jokes around.
It is good for me. I don't know for others. It is very good for my thinking attitude, to change my attitude. It is better way.
Okay, yes, sure.
Thank you.
All right, so understand roles and responsibility. Who does what? So business process owner, GXP record criticality and system functionality assessment. So business process owner does that. System manager categorize industry use and GAMP level. Validation lead facilitates process and does the math. Quality assurance ensure compliance to SOP. So there are 4 people involved to do SLR first. So, everybody have their own roles and responsibility. So going into this industry, you're going to understand what is your roles and responsibility, and you have to stick to it. That's what your roles and responsibility. I mean, you can help others if you know better, but as long as you do your responsibility, you are covered. So you have to understand what is my roles and responsibility. Make sense? So system criticality assessment, something looks like this. It has questionnaire, set of questionnaire, and let me. So if the system is going to be used for validation records, except as noted for medium risk records, training records, facility records, report formatting records, other low risk records, then it's a low system level risk. So if your system is getting used only for records or reports, then your system level risk is low. If your system is going to be used for SOPs, specifications, analytical methods, process validation records, inventory records, equipment calibration and maintenance logs, annual product reviews, one other medium risk records, then your system is medium level risk. If your system is going to be used for all these lot release and records, product stability data, component and labeling records, equipment cleaning and use logs, return drug product and salvaging records, distribution and inventory records, calibration certificates, product complaint reports, all these things are your system level risk is high. So the question, who gonna answer? Business process owner going to answer that what am I going to use this system for? First, what is the intended use of the system? What I'll be using this system for? And based on that, if it falls into this category, then it's low. If it falls into this category, then it's a medium. If it falls into this category, then it's high. And that's how you find your system level risk based on high, medium, and low, and you have 3, 2, and 1. So also let's look at that SOP real quick. I have uploaded it in your class. So yeah, so this is what standard operating procedure speaks, that, you know, based on, so it starts, you know, from here and it ends here. So we'll go a little later in this one. Let's look at first. Oh, no. Farm 08654. So farm 08654 here. So this is the form, you know, where they have to write system name, software version, software supplier, who will be the supplier for the software, and what is they going to use for, whether it's a GMP, GLP, and GCP. Again, what is GMP? Good manufacturing practice. GLP is good laboratory practice, and GCP is good clinical practice. So what this system is going to use for, where? In manufacturing, in laboratory, or in clinical. And then what is this system is going to use, you know, for the functionality, for the purpose. So if it's a training record, you know, it's low. If it's training record of GLP, that means, you know, it's a good laboratory practice and it's low. If you're using for quality assurance statement, that means, you know, it's for medium and GLP. If you are using for patient data from, you know, pivotal clinical studies, then, you know, it's a GCP and it's high. So that's how it's been assessed and, you know, defined. And of course, the system level risk, mostly you don't need to get involved. Then they have, because only validation lead or, you know, business process owner, system manager, they do it. But, you know, it's a very simple, it has a set of questions like, you know, technology assessment, you know, what is this? What is now functionality score? So what is this going to be, you are going to do with the system? Are you going to do data creation modification? Then your score is 3. If you're doing data analysis and reporting, score is 2. Data transport, browsing, storage, 1. You know, then you move and check the distribution score. What is my distribution score? What is this system is for? Custom system, score is 5. Yeah. Regulated industry limited use, score is 4. Multi-industry limited use, 3. Regulated industry broad use, 2. Multi-industry broad use, 1. And you have description here, how you choose that, those, you know, based on, say custom system was developed by or for, you know, some company, or source code was modified for that particular company, or source code is open source. In those cases, the system is custom system. So that's how you're gonna define these things. So, and then you come to GAMP category. Your GAMP category, category 5 is your custom application. And typical examples, it says here. GAMP category 4, you know, you have SaaS or configurable system. Some examples of those systems are here. GAMP category 3, non-configured, and, you know, some examples are here. Then that becomes your complexity score. And now all these things, the validation engineer does the math and put all the score together. If it's 10 to 11, then it's high. If it's 9 to 6, it's medium. If it's 5 to 3, then it's low. Then you come and define your system level risk. So now you have criticality score, you have technology score, and you have system level risk. And based on that, you have a grid there. I'll show you in a minute. And system criticality is 8 to 9 is a critical, 5 to 7 measure, 3 to 4 it's low. And based on all these three, and that's how you define, and they sign it, and that's it. So now you know what is my system criticality level, what is my SLR, system level risk. And once you find this, and we will study this in detail in a validation plan class, in the last class, as we go through this assessment and dig deeper into these things. But right now we're studying risk. So I just wanted to show you how we find system level risk. So this is how we defined, and system criticality assessment. Again, that's how it is. Technology score. You saw how we defined technology score. If it's a data creation modification, then the score is 3. If it's a data analysis and reporting, then the score is 2. If it's a data transport, browsing, storage, it's 1, and that becomes your functionality score. Then you come and go to distribution score. This is how that is done, as you saw it in the form. And who does distribution score? Your system manager. Who does your functionality score? Your business process owner. So you don't do these things, but you need to be aware of what are these and who does it and how it calculated everything together. Then, GAMP category complexity, your system manager does it, not you. You see who is the responsible person? It's a system manager who does it. So now you have functionality score, BPO, distribution score, SM, and complexity score, SM. So, you don't have to do anything. You just need to find out. Now, validation lead overall technology score. So once all those are filled, then validation lead comes and does the math and find what is my, overall technology score, after doing the math. And these are the grid, this is how they defined it. If it's your criticality score is high, medium, and low, and technology score is high, medium, and low, where does it falls? So for example, if your criticality score is high and your technology score is medium, low, then it becomes medium. If your criticality score is medium and technology score is medium, then it becomes medium. So this is how you find this, and you will have everything in your SOP. Regardless, we don't need to dig deeper into this one right now, okay? Because I'm just showing you how system level risks are defined. And again, we're going to focus in our last class more onto it. So, this is how it's defined. Again, validation lead does system criticality. Once you have system criticality, so you saw who fills what. So BPO owner, BPO does criticality assessment and functionality score. System manager does system technology assessment and GAMP category. Validation lead only does technology score, system level risk, and system criticality calculations. So again, not you. You are studying for validation engineer, not for validation lead. So you may not have to do it for next 10 years, but just to giving you a little bit background and understanding. Quality assurance reviews and approves the form and ensure compliance to SOP. That's the quality assurance job. So there are some, outcome or some examples of some of the systems that, if it's a temp tail, it's a high. If it's a GPID, it's low. If it's a discoverant, it's a medium. If it's a Empower, it's high. If it's a LabX, it's a high. These are some examples of the system being used in pharma biotech. Okay. And this is how they find that, okay, what is their score? Medium, high, low. Once you have, so now it started here. You did record criticality determination, you need product knowledge. Then you did technology risk, which system criticality determines, and then system level risk determination. So now you have system level risk. Now you know what is my system level risk, high, medium, or low. Once you have system level risk, then if RRA is required or not. If RRA is required, then you go, and why it is, when it is required. As I said, if your system level risk is SLR is high, then it's required. If your SLR is medium, it's recommended. If SLR is low, then it's not needed. Am I right? So you finish it up here, and then you don't need to do your RRA, requirement risk assessment. But if your system is medium and high, then let's go and see what you need to do. Go ahead. Questions?
BPO here means, like I was giving you an example. Is the Toyota factory or the owner of that car?
Okay, so very good question. And we have discussed this in class 1, class 2, but let me explain you again, since you joined a little late. Every system have to have owner. So there is, so there is a business process owner of that system who owns that system from business perspective. Then you have a system manager who owns the system from technology perspective. And then you have different teams. So in system manager, under system manager, for that system, you have admin, you have developer, you have testers. For business process owner, they have users who are going to use the system.
Okay.
And then you have validation team who takes care of validation of these systems in regulated industry. And then you have a QA, quality assurance.
Right.
So there are 4 teams involved, 4 stakeholders involved in each and every system in this regulated industry. And so everybody have their own roles and responsibility of certain things. And that's what we need to understand.
Okay.
Okay. So now, can anybody tell me, do we need to do risk assessment? Why we need to do risk assessment? Requirement risk assessment.
If the system level risk is very high and medium.
Very good, Manojji. Very good. See, you are paying attention now. Anybody else have a different idea? No? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
To know the risk factor, how much is the risk over here, to find out the level of the risk, we need to know the risk assessment.
That's correct. So there is 2 layers here. First, understand. One is a system level risk. Then second, you have requirement risk assessment. So first you need to find out what is my system level risk. If my system level risk is high and medium, then I am going to do requirement risk assessment. If my system level risk is low, then why do I need to put so much time and energy to do and resource to do requirement risk assessment? So that's what it is. Anybody have any question, concern before I move further? Anybody need any break?
One quick question, Dhruv, sir.
Go ahead, please.
So we went through the document FRM 08654 or whatever that is. Is it just a document prepared by Gilead Sciences for its own internal purpose? It's a method of calculating the severity of severity and the criticality. So is it a more of an industry standard or internal?
Yeah.
document?
So as I told you, I have to use one example, but it's an industry across industry. It's an industry standard. Everybody has to follow almost the same. Nobody can be different. It's a GAMP based on GAMP5. So I'm just using that template just to make you understand. That's all. And it's just a template. But every company you go, it's almost the same thing.
So this is not a standard setup, I don't know how to say it.
It is a standard, but it's every company have to keep in their database. So they have to put their company name. Am I right?
I'm having a confusion here, but I'll figure it out. I know what you were trying to say.
No. Let's clear the confusion.
So,
here I'm just giving you example of one company. Every company have to own these SOPs and templates. And every company have almost the same, because everybody has to follow same standard, same code of federal regulations. So understand why they do it. They do it because it's a code of federal regulations. It's a Sambidhan. So Sambidhan cannot have multiple interpretation. If it does, then it's not written properly. Am I right? So Sambidhan should have one and only interpretation for every company. So, but when they write, each and every company, when they write SOP, they kind of, verbiage a little bit differently or tweak here and there. But everybody has to follow the same law, same code of federal regulations. Am I right? So it doesn't matter which company you go, you're following the same code of federal regulations. And it's enforced by agency like FDA, ICH, ISO, all those agencies, they come and, they make sure that, these companies are following all the code of federal regulations. And that's also our job as a validation engineer, is to make sure that they are following the code of federal regulations. Am I right? So that's why when I showed you this in one of the class where, let me look at it. So all of these are done not because, they have to put so much money and time and resource for no reason. Am I right? They have to do it because they have no choice, because it's a code of federal regulations. So if you see these, this is what you're going to understand later on, that it's 21 CFR code 210, 211, 21 CFR part 820, 21 CFR part 112, 21 CFR, all these code of federal regulations, you can look at, you can go to fda.gov and you can see, or you can buy even these books. And we do everything because the law says so. These pharmaceutical biotechs, they don't do it, they have no, they're not enjoying to do this. They don't want to throw so much money. Why they want to pay you guys or us so much money and time for nothing? Because it's enforced, but it is standard across. So if you see and read through these codes, then you can understand that what is this code is for, and why we do certain things. So you see, these are the books we have to follow. And these, so eventually you're going to become a mini lawyer too. Wait till we finish the class, Arjun. So, all these things are written in these books, all the code of federal regulations. So every company has to follow the same standard all across. But when they write within that company, every company has to own their quality management system and have those SOP that what they are following, because auditor keep on coming every 1 month, 3 months, 5 months, sometimes 9 months. So they have to show that we are following all the code of federal regulations. But every company gonna keep their own unique number, for the documents, their own unique kind of naming convention. So, it differs a little bit here and there, but the content gonna be the same. Is that clear now?
Yeah, that's what I meant. The FRM 08654 document, it's not a code, right? It's just a document.
It's not a code, it's a document number.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes.
It's just a method of calculation, how they take it, how they come up with the numbers.
That's correct.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying it.
No problem. Anybody else have any question?
And any company can have their own number, right?
That's correct. Every company gonna have different number, but number is irrelevant. They do those numbers for their keeping the record purpose, and so remember, in this industry, you understand one thing: every system is one entity. It has a name, it has a number. Every document is also entity, and it has its own number and name. Same way, every parts in that company has unique number. Every requirements you wrote, remember, has its own unique number. Each and everything needs to be recognized and have to have a traceability across, so that's how these systems can manage those. And that's how it's done in a corporate world. So everything has its own number, but it can vary company to company, because some companies started from 5,000 and you cannot stop them. Am I right? So now they're going to have 5,450 or 60. It doesn't matter. Am I right? But the content going to be the same. Good question, Samiksha. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Any break time, Krista? But
let's have a little break, sir. Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, you
for
quit,
10
no,
minutes.
Krista?
I'm good.
No, I say you quit.
Unless I have a glass of wine.
All right. So yeah, let's take it's 9:35. Let's take 10 minutes break, and then we'll get into requirement risk assessment. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Excuse me.
I am back. Did everybody get some tea, coffee, water? Yes.
No, just went to the restroom.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
If I may ask you something, are you sending all these presentation to our email so that we could review it and all that? The reference.
No, it's in the class.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Classroom, I upload it. I'll talk to you about that. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Sure. No
Good.
problem. Yeah.
Good.
Yes, everything is there. And in fact, before time, I always put these things 2 days, 3 days ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, if you come to class, at least you are reviewed and at least have seen one time, and that gives you a better idea what you're going to study for next class. So
right.
Okay, it is better to know the new words over there and new chapter. What is the new chapter we're going to study for next week or next day? So
that's correct.
It is very, very useful, especially for me to be familiar with the some technical words.
That's
it is
correct.
Great for me.
That is the purpose, Arjun sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Although I'm lazy guy, I'll try to
Don't be worried. You know, it says most of the inventions were done by lazy people. So you're not on the wrong side of the history. Don't be worried.
Actually, what I did the first week, I took the class with you. Actually, I didn't understand. Literally, I didn't understand. I know it is like a needle in the sea. So I didn't know anything, and I off the computer and go to sleep. Nowadays, I try to understand the new words, and everything is new, but I try to understand the technical words, and it is being better for me nowadays.
Very good. Very good.
Thank
Yes.
you.
You will get used to it. It's, learning new things, and, it seems, again, information technology is a big thing, big, but it's informations. Anybody can learn.
Yeah.
I have one question. Can I ask?
Go. Yes.
So, GAMP, GMP, GLP, GCP, that they are different categories, or it falls under the GAMP?
It all falls into under GAMP. Very good question, Sunisa. You're thinking, girl. Yes. So it all falls into GAMP.
So GAMP have like 1, 3, 4, and 5 category. Like it have 4 categories now, right? So
That's
GMP, GLP have only 3 categories. Or...
Yes. So when you see GXP means, where does it going to be working for? Is it going to work for manufacturing? Is it going to be working for lab? Is it going to be working for clinical? So remember when I told you how medicines are being done, it starts from preclinical, then it comes to clinical, then it comes to, from prototype and how it goes into the market. So if you understand that cycle, you can relate, but it's only one, holistically, it's one process. It starts from concept and it goes to the market and people take that medicine. But to get there, it takes a lot of time, effort, data, a lot of research, it's a lot of work behind, a lot of investment, any medicine doesn't come into the market just like that. You saw for COVID, even though they expedited, it took so much time, and still people are complaining that you didn't do enough clinical trial. Means you didn't use these medicines on various stages of animals and then human, to see it, there is no side effect. But this was like a special condition. But in regular world, especially in the first world, when they make medicines, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of data, a lot of research, a lot of doctors are involved to get to the point. So then, where you can, so we are system validation engineer, we are CSV engineer, we are studying. So we need to understand where my system is going to be used. Is it for clinical trial process, or is it for laboratories, or is it for manufacturing? And that's when we define those. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No
Thank you.
No problem. I hope everybody is here now, and I can go ahead and start digging into it. We're running a little late with the time. We have a lot to cover. Do you guys mind if it goes beyond 11? Anybody have any appointment, any date, anything? After that, let me know so I can close it on time. If not, I can go ahead and finish this class. So your guys' call. Does anybody have anything?
Dhruv sir, I gotta run to work, but I can always look back at the recording. So,
what time you have to run?
At 1 so our time. So
okay, all right.
Exactly.
Krista, do you have any date? Hey, but you told
No
me you have a
date.
date with me.
There is everybody's doing festival at my house. There's like a my friend, her dad is here.
Oh,
and they're doing some type of, they've got like
like some string like
Oh,
around their
yes,
thing and
yes,
around their
Raksha
neck.
Bandhan.
So I went kind of snuck into the kitchen.
Ravi
Yes.
sir, Ravi sir, I have already done, but I am for 5 years I am empty. No place over here, no guru.
Oh, yeah. Arjun sir, you cannot find a sister. It's easier.
Well, I didn't find it.
Okay, let's go and focus on this. So when to start requirements risk assessment, following requirements and specification approvals, requirements specs approval needs to be done. So that's why you guys did URS and FRS before we come to requirement risk assessment. Then you do requirement risk assessment and then you write test script. So once we get to test a script, then you're going to understand how these relationship works between specs and then assessment, risk assessment, and then a script, how it is all together connected. Used to develop OQ and PQ test script, the risk you're going to analyze will be used for writing your OQ and PQ test script. Approve assessment report before protocol approval. So first you get your specs approved, then your risk assessment approved, then only test script approved. It's one after another. Is that clear? Okay, so recommended RRA option is flexible and allow the risk assessment team to determine their risk assessment approach based on project size and system complexity. For new system, there are two recommended approach. The risk assessment team can create RA plan and create separate risk assessment report, or just combine in one. So you don't have to have two different documents, but it depends. If the system is complex, then you can create separate one plan and one report. But for this system, since it's not complex, your label printer, we're gonna do only combined. Okay, so next thing is, so takeaway, risk assessment strategy needs to be approved before you do the assessment. The approach selected needs to be documented in validation plan. So when you're going to study validation plan in your last class, that's when there is a section where it says that, risk assessment section, where you have to say what is the approach you're going to take to do a risk assessment, RRA. Even you are going to do RRA or not. So those will be the questions asked in Val plan. And based on that, you will be doing this. Regardless, let's focus on RRA. We'll talk about Val plan in Val plan class. Creating RRA plan and report, when to select RRA plan report when the system is complex and project will occur over a longer period of time. That's when you choose, to do separate. But, benefit of RRA plan and report, there are clarity and on the methodology, agreement before the start of RRA, the risk assessment meeting becomes mechanical since the severity, probability, and detectability have been clearly defined. So, sometimes there is a pros and cons for both choice, but it's not of your concern right now. It's above your pay grade, so you don't need to focus on those so much. Creating RRA report only. So how you're going to create RRA report? This is where, like every document, remember purpose, scope, risk evaluation, summary of risk priorities, risk level, all these things I will be giving you, or I might have already uploaded the template for you guys in your class. So, that's when you're going to work on as a team. So now come and see what it's going to be. So this is how it's going to be. For each and every function. So if you have URS, if you have FRS for URS, you're going to analyze each and every FRS. But if you don't have FRS, then you're going to analyze for that URS. Is that clear? So remember, not every URS have FRS, but every FRS have URS. So if you have FRS, then you're going to analyze the risk for FRS. But if some URS doesn't have FRS, then you're going to analyze the risk for URS. Is that clear?
Yes.
The problem I'm having is some people are in the black room. I can't see their faces. And some people are not giving me any expression. So how can I understand you guys are understanding? It seems like I'm talking to the wall. I don't know why you guys are so shy to show your faces. Is something wrong in your face?
It might be early for them, so maybe their hair's not fixed.
Come on, it's after the break now. So come on, guys, you have to get involved in here. You know, don't stay there in your dark room. That was my first, basic thing when we started this class, and you all agreed that you're gonna get involved. You're not gonna do multitasking, texting and listening to sir. It's not gonna help you. Understand? I need to see you involved in here. Seriously, it's something that if you're not taking it seriously, you're gonna fall behind. Please, some days I can understand if somebody is at work, I can totally understand that. I can take that. But you are sitting in the home and you are in the black room and I can't even see you. I can't even read your face if you're getting it or not.
This is the bad part of being a virtual teacher. You cannot throw a chalk on the pillar.
I know. And that's why I told them, hey, rule of thumb. In my class, you guys have to be face to face because there are so many things you understand. So what happens when I'm teaching and if I see your face and if I understand that, hey, this guy might not get it, then I am going to explain you in a different way. But if I don't see your face, if I don't know if you got it or not, how am I going to explain it in a different way? So give me that opportunity. Come on, we are together into this. If you're going to put me down, you're going to put yourself down as well. So just work together, guys, involved. That's very, very important. Don't sit in the back and multitasking. Somebody, I understand, if you're staying with your family, if your kids behind, tell them, hey, it's my church time or whatever time you want to tell them, don't disturb me and take this class, take it seriously. It is very important again. Okay, and these are the things nobody gonna teach you. I'm telling you, if you go in a real world, these risk things are so important. You're gonna have to pay a lot of money to learn these things. I have a passion to teach you. So let's work together. Okay, and more question you're gonna ask me, I will explain you differently, proper way. So and you don't need to be shy with me.
My question is, so if there is, it's kind of relevant. I guess you'd have to figure it out. I guess it could go either way after thinking about it. But for, like you said, like if it's a FRS and URS, and if it is just only a URS, the risk would probably be low then. Well, at least I'm thinking about it.
All right. Sorry, dear, you're on the wrong club. No, I'm just kidding with you. No, that's not the criteria. Guys, sometimes I kind of joke with Krista. Please, no disrespect to anybody. She's a very close friend of mine, so I can just talk to her.
He gives me a hard time.
Yeah, I can talk to her like that. I tease her that, okay, blondes and, and, blondes and what do you call? Red cannot think like us, you know. It's like, and it's because, you know, I have a personal relation with her, but
No, and I do
no
get,
disrespect to anybody.
I do get out because because I've done this before. So, but I was just, I guess, thinking out loud.
Yeah, but that's not the criteria, Krista. Come on. Okay, let's focus. So you're going to write the number, you're going to write here, and then severity, probability, risk class, detectability, risk priority, and comments where you're going to say why. Only include comments, justification if risk priority is low or medium. The justification explains the region of assessment input that contribute to overall rating. You can also talk about mitigation. So again, guys, risk analysis is a vast world. You know, I'm telling you, it's just different world. One time I went to work again. I like to keep that example. I went to Mexico. They called me and they were paying me top dollar. Hey, why don't you come and help us? We all don't know how to do the risk and we need to do this risk. So I said, yeah, give me that dollar, what I need. So they say, yeah, we will give you. So I went to, you know, and then all those engineers came and say, oh, no gringo comes here and tell us what to do. You know, kind of attitude there. So they started understanding risk, and the VP there, they put 10 people there to learn from me. So, you know, and they said, hey, why we are paying Dhruv $140 plus expenses per hour to do this risk? You guys are from good engineering college. Why can't you learn from him? And he's not doing anything. He's asking questions to system manager, business process owner, and then putting things together. So they put so many engineers there. I said, okay, welcome, come. But he asked me, can you teach them? I said, no, I don't teach for free. I don't make friendship with my bread and butter. Why shall I teach them? You know, tell me why I'm gonna, you know, take away my bread and butter. You know, that's my bread and butter. If I teach them, you're not gonna pay me that money. So, you know, somehow he convinced. I put that class and put that, you know, sessions, 2-3 sessions. Then one day that VP came and decided, okay, we'll do it by ourselves, Dhruv. I said, okay, I'm going. I took my bag and I came to a hotel and I started enjoying my wine because I knew these guys cannot handle it. And they're gonna call me. So I was still there in the hotel. And next day, the VP called me again, Dhruv, you have to come back. Sorry, you know, these guys cannot handle it. I said $15 bump. Otherwise, I'm not coming back per hour. So understand this, you know, it's a critical thinking. You know, critical thinking, you cannot buy it just like from the market. So these things, the risk is a critical thinking, you know, and anybody can give you a good, you know, risk assessment. You know, it doesn't matter what is your background, you know, man, woman, you know, brown, black, white, you know, where you coming from, Asian, this and that doesn't matter. The intelligence can come from anywhere. And that's why these teams are made out of the whole, you know, you will see diverse people because, you know, they can see all different perspectives and they have to value those perspectives. So let's dig deeper into what is severity, what is probability, what is detectability, how we do this, how we define that, you know, to see from different perspective. This is where the risk comes into the picture. So how are we going to do it? Let's, anybody have any idea? Can share how we can do this, how we can do severity, probability, detectability. Does anybody have any experience? No? So, okay, let's go. And that's why I'm here. That's why you guys.
We can read the numbers 1, 2, 3.
Who is that?
Means depending upon the severity.
Okay, Chaitanya. Okay, so no, I mean, my question was how you can come up with severity based on what?
FRS.
Okay, so you have FRS that my printer will have, 100 copy per minute level printer.
Okay.
How you can come up with severity? Tell me. That's your functionality, am I right? That's your requirement.
We have to check, is it possible to do 100 copies per minute or not?
That's not a risk.
Just see how it affects the user. Like if something happened, how severe, if it didn't, if the copies couldn't be made or they could be made. So it'd be how, what the risk would be. How it would affect that person or how it would affect the user or the system.
If it is not done, how it is going to affect the system?
That's correct. So that brings you to the point where you need to understand the malfunction or what can go wrong in that functionality. Am I right? And if that things goes wrong, then what will be the severity of that? Can you guys connect what I'm trying to say?
So is it like you are saying is, I mean, the printer says 1,000 copy per minute, but if it's lag, like because of the malfunction, it's not printing as per, like let's say it's printing only 800 or let's say 700. So we are looking for what might be the reason behind it. Is that what you mean to say?
No, we're not talking about the region here. We're trying to find the risk.
Can I?
Yes,
the risk is we will lose the customer, that we cannot deliver the things on time. What delivery will be affected with that.
No, Ravi sir, we have nothing to do with business loss.
So is it if what if the paper jams?
Okay, so my point is for any functionality, the risk, understand first, this is, if you're not going to understand these fundamentals, you're not going to understand the risk. So clear, and it's basic. Here, we're not talking about business risk, Ravi sir. For business risk, you were right. That production cannot happen in time. We're gonna have people, waiting. The labor cost gonna go high because it got jammed and stuff like that. We have nothing to do with that. The risk we're gonna analyze only because what will be the effect on patient safety, data integrity, and product quality. Where that gonna affect? Because more than business loss here, it's a human loss, life loss is more important. So we are going in that line. But first you have to understand one thing, So for any functionality you're gonna see here, first we have to think what all can go wrong in that functionality. What all malfunction can happen in that functionality. And if that happens, what is the severity of it? How often that malfunction or problem can occur? That is your probability. And if that happens, how easy you can catch it? What is your detectability? And those three numbers, as it varies, your risk will vary. So for example, if you can catch your problem easily, then your risk will go lower. So detectability, high detectability, lower the risk. High severity,
higher the risk.
And if you have less probability, then medium the risk. You understand? These three numbers work together. If one thing goes more than others, things change. So that's what we're going to look at right now, and we're going to understand that part. And feel free to stop me, ask me question, because this is very, very important. If you're not going to understand this fundamental, you're not going to get it. Yeah, go ahead.
Severity means the problem?
No, that's what I was saying. The problem is your malfunction.
Okay.
And if that problem, what is the effect of your problem? Is your severity.
Severity, yeah. Yeah,
You
so
understand?
it's like if we are using our printer on network, so hacker might intervene our printer.
That's correct. That's correct. And then if hacker, hack your printer,
then they can
then
produce
what will be the severity? What it can cause?
They can produce counterfeit label.
That's correct. Or they can alter your label.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you see your medicine labels have doses. So it says, twice a day. What if somebody go hack it and make it 5 a day? That's gonna kill 500 people, mass. People gonna die because doctors follow what is written there. Even nurse follows what is there. So 5 medicine they're gonna eat, they're gonna die. All of a sudden, 500 people gonna die. Am I right? So that is severe. Go ahead.
So I have this example in my mind. For example, like when we were working our label printer document, so we wrote that using a non-toxic ink to print out the label printer. So can that be an example of, how severe, the risk or the, how severe it can get?
Mitigation of the risk, yeah.
Right.
That is your mitigation. We are not talking about mitigation here. Mitigation is whole different chapter.
Yeah, so another example can be, since we are using database, so the hacker can alter with our database and change the printer configuration.
Yeah, we're gonna think about so many other thinking,
Oh.
but don't carry it away that much. First, we got to focus on our requirements because we're not gonna analyze everything possible it can happen. What if a sky falls down? We cannot talk about that. A sky falls down, let it be. We're gonna have to focus on our functionality of the system and what can go wrong there. Okay. All right.
So if I'm correct here, we should be understanding this thing in three, like in this pattern: probability first, and then detectability second, and then severity the last.
No, first severity, then probability, and then detectability is the last.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And why, I'm gonna tell you in a minute.
Okay.
So the comment section in this table where you're gonna put, why justification, why it's low or medium, and what will be the mitigation of that. And that's what it talks about. So severity is, the comments column can help explain why the severity is low. For example, the severity is low because there is a backup paper process. The probability is low because the function is out of the box and requires no configuration or custom code. The detectability is high because user will know immediately if the function is not working. So that kind of things you have to think. It's a critical thinking process and you have to understand that part. The comments column information can also include any systems or procedures control that help reduce severity, reduce probability, or increase detectability. So can you add something to reduce the risk? What you can do? If you increase detectability, it will reduce the risk. But hey, if that happens, it's easy to catch. If you catch, that means you're not going to lose it. The risk is low. Am I right? Because the moment you catch it, it's easier. Some people I have seen, they try to reduce the risk. We used to have a pickpocket, so if your purse is in the back pocket, it's easy to be stolen. But then people started putting it in the front pocket. So that means what? You're raising the detectability. So if somebody tried to pick your pocket from the front, it's easy to catch, easier to catch, things like that. So what is your mitigation? How you can reduce those risks. And so it applies to the same for each and every requirements. So let's look at these things and understand a little bit. Okay. So for example, the user must have ability to separate chromatographic data by project. This is FRS. This is your, URS ID, FRS. And then this is analyzed. The severity is high, probability is low. And based on high and low, it becomes risk class. And then risk class and detectability becomes risk priority. And the comment section, it says easily detectable and user cannot proceed, if that happens. So understanding first the requirement you have to understand, and then think as a team, what all it can go wrong. First thing. So if the user must have the ability to separate chromatographic data by project, what all it can go wrong? Why you think the severity is high? And if that things goes wrong, what is the effect on patient safety, data integrity, and product quality? If it's high, then high. If it's medium, then medium. If it's low, then it's low. That is based on what will be the effect, not what can go wrong. What can go wrong is your one malfunction. But if that goes wrong, and one requirement can have more than one malfunction. So in a real world, in PFMEAs, we have done various malfunctions for each requirement. But in CSV, in computer system validation, just focus on one malfunction, or the most biggest malfunction, or biggest thing can go wrong. And then based on that, you're gonna understand high severity, probability, and detectability. So let's go dig deeper a little bit into it, and then we can understand better. So for example, this is how you're gonna create. This is your URS, and these are your two FRS for one URS, for example. And then you're gonna create your severity, probability, risk class, then detectability, and then risk priority. And then this is okay. Now I got my risk priority, which is high, and then what we need to do if it's a high. So that's what we're gonna understand. So how do you do it? Who should attend? What supplies to have at the meeting? What meeting ground rules to follow? What questions to ask? Very important. So these things are not done alone. Nobody can do it alone. And you have to have minimum Fabulous 4, which is business process owner, system manager, validation read, quality assurance. That's a minimum. But I have done PFMEA with 20 team members, 20 people to do PFMEA. So, many people can get involved and think through it, that, what can go wrong. And so you can never do it alone, always in a team, and everybody can contribute no matter what. What is the background you are coming from? We all have intelligence. We just have to think what can go wrong in this, and once it goes wrong, what will be the effect of it? So this is how these teams are made. So roles are team members' role. Business side, business uses business process knowledge to describe the severity and detectability of the system function failure. The system manager uses system functional knowledge to identify the probability, that is complexity and detectability of a failure. Validation leads the risk assessment process. As a lead, we have to lead the whole process and explain how we're going to do this, and do the math kind of thing. Quality assurance provides regulatory expertise to ensure that the team is asking the right questions and avoiding biasness. Very important, so we'll talk about it in a bit, why people can be biased. So the most RRA experienced members should facilitate the individual requirement assessments. All team members need to come to the meeting with an open mind. That is, no preconceived notions about risks, such as all risks being low. So people, already think that, oh, there is no risk in it, without even thinking, But there is always risk associated with everything you do in your life. It doesn't matter. You are going to drive from here to there, there are risks, and you have mitigation, and then you take certain measures to, to control those risks. But everything, we have electricity in our house, there is a risk. Am I right? Doing anything in your life, there is a risk associated with it. And what do we do in order to reduce the risk? So never come with that idea that, oh, I got it, there is no risk. All the risks are low. It's never true. So you got to have an open mind when you do that. Be sure to bring the following to the risk requirement risk assessment: approved requirement documents, that is your URS and FRS, which you guys have to complete, supposed to be completed, but some of you have not completed yet. This will be your homework for this week. So you got to have those requirements completed. A risk assessment computerized system assessment plan, which I will provide you guys. Risk assessment template table, which I will provide you guys. A laptop and projector, so you can work as a team together. Right now, you cannot gather together in a coffee house because you all spread out all over. So Zoom is the best option to do that. Ground rules: listen and don't interrupt. Let others finish when you are doing. Don't think you're too smart or over smart. You have to listen to others' perspective. You never know what others are looking at the view. So risk is a very, very important thing when you do as a team. It doesn't matter, somebody looks like a dumb or somebody looks like a blonde, but they can have a valuable informations and view. Sorry, Krista. So, you got to listen to everybody and let them finish. Some people are, smart ass, and they think that, oh, I know everything. I know everything. You don't know everything. How can you know everything? Let others speak up. Let others look at from different perspective. Consider different views, and put everything together. Ensure that all participate. And responses come from everyone, because it's very important. Be present and avoid electronic distractions. Example, phone, email, instant messaging. If you guys are staying in a dark room and multitasking, stop it. These things are very, very important. You have to involve, you have to think, and you have to have a critical thinking about these things. Hold an in-person meeting and avoid having attendees dial in. When meeting cannot be in person, use video conference. So why video conference? That's why you need to look at each other and see the response. Everybody's involved and thinking about it. Very important. Schedule meeting long enough to keep momentum. Example, 2 hours. So we used to have 6 hours of meetings when we were doing FMEAs. So it's long and momentum, and everybody is thinking and taking their time. 4 fundamental questions to ask in order to clearly define the risk during the RRA meeting. What might go wrong? That is very important. For each and every requirement, What can go wrong? First thing, consider what is known or predictable. What is the complexity of the function? That is your probability. How complex is the system? How often it can happen? Do you have any control not this, this thing cannot go wrong? What is the control you have? How can you say how often it can happen? And what are the consequences is your severity. If that happens, what are the consequences on your product quality, data integrity, and patient safety? That is your severity. Can the problem be detected and how easily? That is your detectability. If it happens, can you catch it? How easy you can catch it? What is the chances of catching it? That is your detectability. So understand this fundamental first. Do you have any question here? That means, Sonika, tell me, what is your severity?
What's your question?
What is your severity?
What do you mean by severity?
That's correct.
Is how critical the thing is, the procedure or whatever it is. So how it's going to impact patient safety, data integrity, or product quality.
Okay. Ishwarji, what is your probability? You're on mute. Yeah.
What might go wrong?
That is your probability. Then you are missing the point. That's why focus here, what I'm talking. Girjaji, what is your detectability?
How you can detect the problem?
How easily you can.
How easily?
That's correct. Very good. Arpan, tell me, what is severity?
Severity, like consequences, like how do I say it? What are the chances, like how critical it is of like.
That is probability.
I meant like, how do I say it? How severe it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand you understanding, but try, speak up. I want you to repeat those words.
How critical it is for like, if something happens to the system, like maybe there's a data breach or something, how severe the consequences of its action might be on the system, the people involved. So
very good. David, what is
Hello.
your probability?
The probability is how complex the function is, and
very good. Very good. You're paying attention. I'm happy. Samiksha, what is your detectability? You're on mute.
How easily the risks can be detected?
Risk?
Like the problem.
Okay. Choose the words, right words here. I want to make you understand these things. So in a way, how you going to do it? See, if you understand these 4 points, you will know how to do the risk. So what might go wrong first in that functionality or in that requirements? That is your first question you're going to talk or discuss. Once that goes wrong, how severe it can be based on what? 3 things. How severe it is for product quality, how severe it is for data integrity, and how severe it is for patient safety. Those are 3 major things Code of Federal Regulations are looking for. So if something goes wrong, what are the consequences? How it will affect these 3 things? That becomes your severity. And then how complex is your function, is your probability. And then if it's how easy you can detect, how easy you can catch if that happens, is your detectability. Now again, tell me, Sonisa, you tell me what is your severity?
Severity is how severe it is, and it includes 3 points: data integrity, product quality, and patient safety.
Very good. I like that. Avas, you tell me. You're on mute. Yeah.
Yes, you want me to talk about
Severity.
severity?
Yeah, explain me severity, how you understand severity.
So for me, severity is the level of the damage or the possible possibility of the damage or the intensity. And under it, we have 3 categories that we measure. There is product quality, data integrity, patient safety. And higher the severity, higher the risks.
Okay, very good. Sakusalji, you tell me, what is the probability? What do you understand by probability? You are on mute.
Sorry. The probability is an assuring with the particular function. The low probability means there is a little chance that the function will fail. And if it's the high probability means there is a high chance that the function will fail.
Very good.
And if you talk about the severity, like
no, you hold on. Hold on. I got you. Avinash, tell me, what is detectability? You're on mute.
Yeah, the detectability means so how the data are being detected, whether it is whether it is might be analysis by a program or what.
Okay, good enough. Resamji, what is your severity?
Yeah, severity means data integrity and quality, product quality, and human safety. But in our case, as far as our case is concerned, I don't think there is a safety of the human loss, something, right? It should be a more focus on data integrity and product quality, right?
Why not?
Yeah, I believe so.
No,
because,
your belief is wrong, because these labels, are very, very important. If your label is not printed right, it can have, it has so many informations. It has Code of Federal Regulations. It have doses. It has, content. Say, for example, in this label, you have content sodium 6%, but your patient is, if your patient is allergic to sodium, for example. So the doctor didn't see that, it has a 4% sodium. So it can kill the person. You understand?
Oh.
So how can you say
yeah, absolutely. I didn't go that far because I thought
you
just,
do, you have
screen
to.
button.
That's what, that's the whole point here. So that's what you have to think. That's how you have to think. Okay. So let's go further, guys. I see you guys almost getting there. Yeah, some of the people still in the back room. Sagar, I didn't ask you question because I don't see you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
like whenever you describe these 3 different aspects, generally you go with the system, right?
No more system. We're not talking about the system right now. We're talking about the functionality now. RRA, requirement risk assessment. Requirement means your functionality of the system, how it can affect your end product. You understand? What is the risk on your end product? So that is what we are talking about.
Okay.
So,
sir, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So if we, after this, our assignment is to do the RRA, right?
That's correct, as a team.
And in that RRA assignment, so are we gonna choose each and every FRS and URS we wrote, or?
That's correct. Each and every FRS, if There is no FRS, then URS.
Oh, each and every FRS is important, and if there
That's
is
correct.
no FRS, then
For some requirements, there is no FRS, then you do URS.
URS. Otherwise, it's all FRS.
All FRS. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So severity, the major contributors are BPO, probability, system manager, detectability, BPO, system manager, and valid. Don't view severity as a domino effect. What is domino effect? My Krista gonna explain that, or David gonna explain that. It's a slang, American slang. David, can you say what is domino effect?
So when you say domino effect, it means that because of one thing, there's I guess like a trail or multiple things fall because of that. So if, let's say, I don't know, you mess up with the label and you put the wrong doses for the sodium, like you were saying earlier, the domino effect means that there are going to be multiple, I guess, medications with the wrong label, and then multiple people are going to be taking the wrong dosage, and multiple people can get sick. So because of one thing, other things happen.
That's correct. That's your domino effect. Krista, you gonna explain it in different way?
Exactly what David, just like, I don't know, anybody is very familiar with the games. I explain it very for everyone. So you have your dominoes, and you know how they do like these little domino things where you hit one, they all fall down.
Yeah.
So we don't want no repetition. We don't want it to keep every one of them fall down just because of that one. So don't keep doing the same mistake over and over again just because of one.
Exactly. So now you know that slang where, don't view severity as a domino effect. If you use too many degrees, then everything will be severe. So pay attention to those things. Understanding the risk and analyzing it in the right proportion is a very, very important thing, guys. Going forward, some people come, oh, everything is severe. Everything is high risk. Some people say, oh, everything is low risk. There is no risk here. All those kind of thoughts you have to get rid of. Pay attention, each and every functionality. Yes, Ravi sir, you had some question?
No, I was just trying to keep my input into the domino effect. That is very much being used right now in the COVID scenario.
That's correct.
When they pick up in the dominoes line, when they pick up the infected person from in between, the chain between the beginning and the end will definitely break there.
Yep.
That is how it is. Like we used to play in our childhood, the brick.
Yes.
Putting a brick in the school and then pushing one brick.
Push one and all the bricks
all will go down.
Yes.
So one thing affecting with another inconsequences is called
domino
effect. We don't have domino back home. We had a brick.
Yes.
We call it brick effect.
Yes. Yes. And so understand probability. It's important to understand how the system is built. Very important. Its components and their interaction. The probability levels are based on amount of configuration and customization in that functionality or in that system. So pay attention to these important things. That's how you're going to analyze those. Your detectability based on users' visibility through the UI, user interface. How easy you're going to catch it, how easy you can detect it. All participants should be able to contribute to the potential detectability. And this is how you guys have to understand and determine what is severity, probability, and detectability, again, going forward. So some of the examples you have here, you guys can read through it. I don't need to read each and every word. So high severity means if the system failures of this type occurs, they likely would be direct impact on data integrity, product quality, or patient safety. The following are example: a function that is used to make key decisions like expiry dates, patient dosing, lot status, product recalls. All those things are high, severity is high. A function that directly impacts regulatory requirements, always severity is high. A function that impacts the accuracy of GXP critical data, severity is always high. A function that impacts the retrieval of GXP data during retention periods, severity is always high. So all these things, guys, you have written some of the system examples, like for Discoverant, for LabX, also for GLIMS. So all these examples you have, you guys find your time and read through it before you start your homework. Okay. Same way, probability of occurrence high if it's a custom software or component developed to meet the requirement. Example, interfaces and custom extension, it's always high. Medium, custom configuration using complex conditions or complex interactions. Example, configuration of reports or business rules requires more than a simple checkbox configuration or single parameters input. So it comes to the point, how complex is that function? Does that function involves various things? Then probability is higher because things can go wrong, more often. That's your probability. But, if it's a very simple, function, then you can say, hey, probability is medium or low, chances are very low. Low, standard non-configured out of the box functionality or simple configuration components, that means probability is low. So pay attention to those things. There are some example for this, like for ELN, how this can be high, medium, and low. So read through it and you can connect to these things. Also, LabX probability, failure is very likely to occur. The functionality is complex. The likelihood of user data entry error is high. That's why it's high. All these examples, we have put it together. So if you read through it, understand it, you're going to find out the answer as a team, as a group. Okay. Same way, detection, how easy you can detect, how easy you can, if those things goes wrong, it's easy to catch. If Amit falls in love, is it easy to catch, Krista?
For me, yes.
Uh-huh.
Ain't nothing can get past me.
Yeah. Because your detectability is high. Am I right?
That's right.
You can catch, you can read the mind, you can read the body language. So many things, So that means you can say, hey, my detectability is high. I can catch him if something goes wrong. I know this guy better than anybody. Am I right? So same way, you can apply, various examples, how easy you can catch if something goes wrong.
So detectability, if I'm right, it is like finding the root cause.
No, it's not finding the root cause. Root cause is for kappa. You don't talk about root cause here. Okay. Finding, detectability means if something goes wrong in that functionality, okay. Like if something goes wrong, how easy you can catch it. Is okay. There a mechanism to catch it?
Okay, got it.
Got it? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. These terms are new to me. This is
yes, that's why. No problem. That's why, I'm here to explain again and again. So there are some examples of detectability, how you define detectability. For example, TrackWise, system is unavailable, user detection, user cannot perform a job function, that in those cases it's high, in these cases it's a medium. So, that's how you have another example of LabX. You can read through those, in your time. So now, understand these rubrics. So your severity is high and your probability is high. That means, Avinash, what is my risk class?
I'm sorry, sir?
If my severity is high and my probability is high, what will be my risk class?
Of course, it will be high.
Very good. Very good. If my risk class is 3 and my detectability is low, what will be my risk priority? Resamji.
What's the question again?
Risk class is 3 and detectability is low. What
Risk
will be
class
my
is
risk
3,
priority?
Low, right?
No. Look at that rubrics.
Yeah.
Pay
Yeah,
attention.
risk class. Yeah, risk class is.
So your risk class is 3 and your
Oh yeah, I was
detectability is
looking at
low.
the.
Where does it meet?
This is low, right? Yellow, right? Low.
So yellow is medium. Green is low.
Oh yeah, right hand
And
side.
red
Yeah,
is high.
yellow. Yeah, yellow is medium. It means
Yeah. Don't be worried. I'm trying to,
Okay.
bring your attention here so you guys can connect to this.
Yeah, I was looking at the risk priority.
Yeah.
Go
If
ahead,
my
sorry.
severity is low and probability is high, what will be my risk class? Arjunji.
Please,
Arjun
question again, please. I want to know the
If
problem.
my severity is low and probability is high, what is my risk class?
It should be low.
How?
Because
no, go to this break here. So my severity is low and my detectability probability is high. Where does this meet to? Here. What is this color?
Oh, yeah. This is high. Yellow is high. No?
Yellow is medium.
Oh, yellow is medium. Oh, okay.
It's a risk class 2. Okay. It's a risk class 2. Okay. If my severity is high and probability is high, what is my risk class? I'm gonna ask Rosil.
So if the severity is high
and probability is high, what is my risk class?
1. It's high.
Very good. If my risk class is 2 and my detectability is low, what is my risk priority? Milanji.
High risk priority.
Very good. Good job. Anybody have any question, concern here? Did you understand this? Everybody is clear?
I'm kind of priority and class. That is what it is mixing me up. Risk priority and risk class.
So yeah, so understand this first. Your severity and probability makes risk class. And your risk class and detectability makes risk priority.
Oh, okay. Is it there? Yep.
It's here. So severity and probability makes risk class, and risk class and detectability makes risk priority.
Got it.
Any other question? Can I move further?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So here is the test for you guys. I'm going to talk about one requirement, and I'm going to ask you what is severity, what is probability, what is detection. And you guys going to answer me, and then we will check the answer later. Okay.
Yeah.
So the requirement says the document management system prohibits user from deleting a document in any state. What will be the severity? Samiksha. Think.
Is it medium?
And why?
I cannot explain why.
Just guessing?
Yeah, just guessing, yeah.
Okay, write it down that you said URS1 severity medium. Write it down. Okay. Milanji, do you agree with her? She's saying severity medium.
Yeah, I agree, sir.
Write it down. You may both may be wrong.
Yeah,
Both are guessing.
We are in the same group. That's why, like,
That's why thinking alike. Huh? I have to pick up from other group. Sandeshji, do you agree? Both said it's a medium. Can you give me the reason if you differ? It says the requirement is, understand this, how we do this. So it says in a system, document management system, it prohibits the user from deleting a document. It may be in any state of document. It can be approved, it can be draft, it can be any state of the document. It prohibits. That's the functionality.
Also it's medium.
You say medium, and why?
Yeah, because I don't think it can be customizable.
So customization has nothing to do with severity. Again, you missed the whole point. Pay attention. What did I say? What is severity?
Like, sorry, the product.
Consequences.
Yeah, the consequences, the product qualities.
Level of risk involved in
Data integrity.
Can I say something on it?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think if document is allowed to editing, then it is severity, because document can be breached or something, data going to be loose or some data will be added, that will be severity. So as far as this is just deleting prohibits, it means not that higher risk, it should be medium risk. That's my thought, because it's not allowing to add or editing something, just it is prohibiting to do that. So that's why
Okay.
it's in medium.
Hold on to that thought. Does anybody disagree with the medium? Yes, Avas.
Can I ask you a question? Can you clarify what do you mean by in any state? Like user can't not delete. I'm like the DMS won't.
Okay,
let the
so in
user
a
delete in any
document
state?
management system,
Yeah.
you have documents.
Right.
And documents have data.
Yeah.
Of course. And it has various stages. Draft, approved, effective, draft in progress, approval in progress. It can be many state of document. So system doesn't allow it to delete. You cannot delete as a user. Am I right? So finding severity here is what it can go wrong. And if that happens, what is the severity of it?
So I would say the severity is low.
Low?
Yeah.
I agree with him. It's low.
I would say high.
I would say low.
I would say high.
I won't try. I'm opposite to everyone, but I think because it affects on the data integrity, and I think it's high.
High.
All right. So whosoever said high is the right answer.
Yay! I thought it was high too.
High.
I did.
And I give you the reason for that. So the reason is, so it says the system prohibits, understand again. It says system prohibits to delete the document. Okay. It may be in any state. That means what can go wrong first? We have to think what can go wrong. So what if system allows somebody to delete the document? Then what happens?
Then you
That
lose that document.
it will affect the data integrity. Am I right? Remember, what is the basis of severity? Your data integrity. So you're going to lose the data. If somebody can, what can go wrong? It allowed to delete. That can go wrong. If that deletes the data, that means it's a severe. The severity is high. So write it down. Again, I'm going to ask Chaitanya, what is the probability of this?
I think it's low.
It's low, and
Because,
why?
By mistake it can happen, but every time we can't delete the document.
And why you think so?
Means
Tell me the reasoning. I want to talk, tell me. Give me the reasoning.
Means someone can delete the document by mistake, but wantedly no one can do that. No.
Okay. Who agrees with Chaitanya?
I was thinking quite opposite, like the example you gave us earlier about printing the label and giving the dose kind of thing with a medicine 3 times or 6 times. So if that process is there and by mistake someone has written it 6 times and that's supposed to go 3 times, so someone can delete that, or whoever detects that problem or the.
No, Ravi sir, you are thinking out of context. My point here, let's focus again. My point here is there is a functionality here. The functionality says that, system doesn't allow to delete the document. Document management system doesn't allow to delete the document. Malfunction here is what can go wrong? What if it allows to delete? So how often it can happen? What is the probability of happening that? Let's focus on that first.
I think it's low. That is my reason.
Okay, I got it. Does anybody differ from Chaitanya? That's what I'm asking.
Can I ask one more time for Chaitanya? Like, why is the reason it was low?
Why the reason means no one wantedly deletes the document. Sometimes it may happen by mistake only. No, I think that's why probability is low of happening like that.
Yeah, Dhruv sir, I have a question. So you mean that you can say anything like high, medium, or low, just you have to have a valid point?
That's correct.
Okay.
You have to have a reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say it's low because every time if someone wants to delete the data, then the system it gives warning to the admin or someone, and then they just have to approve that one.
No, warning thing is detectability. Stop there. Warning thing is detectability. We're not talking about detectability. We're talking about probability. That's why I bring these examples. So understand again how often it can happen. And Chaitanya said low, and C is right. And you are right, Milan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So it can happen very rare.
We can say that only the admin can change the data.
No, even user can do it once in a while, but not more often because it's configured differently. Okay, what will be the detection? If that happens, how easily you can catch? Rosil, any thought? What will be your detection?
Detection.
Give me the reason.
I would say it will be detected easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So detectability is what? Milanji already told it.
Yeah, it's high. Detectability is already high.
Right.
Yes, so detectability is high because if it happens, it will trigger, it has a mechanism, it will trigger the email to, if there is a mechanism, it will trigger the email to admin that, hey, somebody deleted the document, and he can catch it very easily. Do you agree, Chaitanya?
Yes, I will. Means if they didn't trigger also, someone uses the document and they can come to know. So detectability is high, means easily detectable.
Does anybody differs? Now let me tell you, what if that mechanism is not there?
Right. If the system, if there's no.
When we are using document, we can come to know the document is missing.
Let's say the team
but
meeting.
How often you can catch?
Right.
It might take you 3 months to catch that.
Yeah, if you don't have such mechanism, the detectability is going to be low unless you look for it.
That's correct, Roshan.
Even if you have like a regular weekly meeting and there's like 100 pages to go through, and somebody deleted like one line of documents from 100 pages, if you don't have a system, then it's
you'll
gone.
probably never
Only the
know.
person who deleted
So
will know.
detectability is low.
Low.
It's low.
The right answer is detectability is low. So,
but just in case,
but
if you don't have the mechanism.
Milanji said that if that has a mechanism to catch it, if it triggers, if somebody wants to delete something, can it trigger, some system have it? Can it trigger an email, or does it need an approval from the admin? In those cases, it can reduce, or it can detectability can be high, but right now it's just a low. So yeah, good thinking, good exercise. Let's go to another one. It says, entering the approved state for a document, the document management system shall set the previous steady state version to supersede the status. So once you have, approved document, say you're changing the version. So now you have version 5, and the moment version 5 approved, version 4 should be superseded. What is the severity of this? Shakusalji?
It's going to be high. Once you get the new version of the document, so it's going to be high.
Why?
So every time when you update some documents, it's going to be new changes on the document. So it's going to consider as a high priority, severity. So
okay, write it down.
Okay.
URS2 severity high, you said. Does anybody differ from Sakusa? Sonika, any thought? You seems like thinking. Tell me.
So I'm still confused. Like it really depends on how that change impact on the.
That's what we are trying to figure out here. So confusion is good.
So I can tell.
I think it is low.
Why? Reason?
The reason is once the document 5 supersedes the version 4, there will be nothing. We have to follow the number 5. So there is whatever is written in number 4 or document number 4 or version 4 has nothing to do with what we are doing with the SOP. SOP allows you to work with the what is that, version 5.
Understand first requirement. Requirement says version 5, if it's approved, version 4 automatically should be superseded. But what if it doesn't supersede? What if version 4 and 5 both in your document management system?
That is high. That is high then.
It's high.
Because there will be confusion between those both versions. There has
David,
to be some.
you agree?
Yeah, I would say it's high because at that point, if it doesn't have a changed status, if someone doesn't know any better, they might go with version 4. It may be the same day that version 5 comes out.
Exactly.
They'll see version 4, and they'll say, "Oh yeah."
Some people will be using version 4. Some people using number 5.
So both of you are right.
Yeah.
It's high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Sakusalji, you said high too?
Yes.
Okay, you're right then. You're thinking on the right line. Okay, what will be the probability? How can you define probability? Ishwarji, can you try this? And tell me why. Oh, you're on mute again.
I would say it's low.
And region?
The functional complexity is low is the
Okay, write it down. URS2 probability low, you said. Anybody else differ from Ishwarji? Anybody else think differently? Or everybody agrees that it's low?
I would probably say medium.
And region?
Just because you never really know, like per se, is based on the system. So I'm not sure if there's a way for you to to like correct that if it does happen, or for a way for you to even know when it's going to happen. So I wouldn't say it's too high or too low because you wouldn't want to risk it.
Good thinking, David. Write it down.
In general system, I would agree with David, but here it says approved. So that's why I'm going to go with low.
Very good. Write it down, Durgaji. I like that. You know, you guys have to think and see your perspective, and then we're going to come to the answer. That's why, you know, these things are, you know, everybody has to use their intelligence. You know, what can go wrong and how often it can happen, you know, because of what? Because of, you know, how complex. So you have to, you guys don't have background, but document management system is configurable system. Mostly it's a SaaS system. Sometimes it can be also custom system as well. So, you know, again, that's
I would I would go a little bit high. The reason is because it's the new version, so there is a risk also and a probability also higher. That's my thought.
So write it down and let me tell you the answer. The probability is low. Sorry, guys. Yes. Okay.
Because it's already superseded.
What will be the detection? Samiksha, smile, please. Tell me what is the detection?
Detection. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I'm just trying to understand. Is it medium?
And region?
I'm just trying to gather the reason.
Okay. Anybody else differ from her? Seems like you're still not happy with the rain. Samiksha. We could not change your mind that rain is romantic. You're still not happy with the rain.
So maybe the detection will be high since.
Okay. And region?
Since as per the requirement, because the newer version is approved, so we won't be, you know, going after the older one. So
you can easily detect.
We will be following. Yeah, I think that will be high.
How would you know? My question is,
because you will be
if you search for that document number, you have both. You say if it's not superseded, that means both will be active approved document. So how would you know that 4 is superseded by 5? Why would you not gonna open the version 4? Because it doesn't say it's superseded. Am I right? That's what we think can go wrong, that if it's not superseded, then you know, both will be approved state. Yes, Ravi sir.
If we are talking about URS2, there's the risk will be low, I believe, because this is already superseded by the number 5. So
we're not talking about risk. We're talking about detection.
We're talking
risk
about
will come later. Don't worry about risk.
No. We are talking about URS2, no?
Yeah, URS2 detection.
So that is what I'm telling. If there is no document already there, the version 4 is already gone from there. So there is nothing to be worried about. We will be working only on number 5.
No, you're thinking differently. Here we are doing risk. Again, pay attention. What we are saying is it should be like that. But if that doesn't happen, if 4 and 5, what can go wrong? So it can go wrong that 4 is not superseded. Am I right?
Then it is high.
So both are there, 4 and 5, both are there. You know, you're talking about risk means what can go wrong? And if that goes wrong, detectability is, can you catch it? How easily you can catch it?
Low, yeah.
I think low too.
So I think, like, if I use the intuition, as you said, the detection is high, but I think I saw the answer, it was medium or low. I think it was medium there in the answer.
I think it's medium
you
because...
saw the answer already?
Because you scroll it down.
I will say hi. If I have to, like, put that on the column, I will say hi.
And no worry about the answer, but I need a reasoning from you guys. The reason I'm trying to do this so I can understand your brain if you got this whole process or not.
So in that case, Dhruva sir, I'm completely confused about the main concept of like, how are we supposed to think? Like in what, like what, how are we supposed to perceive the situation? Like
exactly.
this or that.
So can I share
Is there
something
like
from my work?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like in our job, so whenever there is new TCN or temporary change or DCN, they usually post it in a board or they post it in a computer system. But sometimes, like we had this, like they had both in that board, so that the person forgot to take it off.
Okay.
So,
it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen more often.
And
if that happens, then how can you catch it? We're talking about detectability.
Dhruv sir, I think maybe no, you can go ahead.
Number. Sorry, the revision number on the bottom.
But it's already approved, right? How are you gonna know it's gonna be the revised version? We don't know.
Here's the thing, it totally depends on the people looking at the document. So if somebody is up to date with what's going on with version 4 and changes have been made, people should be able to know. Well, some people are not as bright.
Analogy,
so
Roshanji, very good analogy, but tell me the basic behavior of people. Does people go and look for all the version?
Nope.
No, they do not.
Yeah,
that's why I think the detectation would be low. That's why I think it's low. Because just like if it's superseded, then it's just like in the one before, if it's gone, it's gone. Nobody's going to go back and say, oh, well, if it's so many pages and look at it to see.
All right. So you're right, Avazji, and you saw the answer. It's medium.
It's a debate is what it is.
But that's not the point. The answer is not the point here. The point is, can you relate to these things? Can you reasoning? Can you bring reasoning in your mind? Why it is? Yeah. Avinash, you're saying something?
No, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I thought you were saying something. Okay. Let's go and look at this requirement.
Question. Is it necessary to have the high and low class exactly fits into the URS that we're discussing on, or it can be like low or medium, like based on the other systems or anything? Because we're arguing that for the URS2 detection was low and the answer was medium, so it can go either way, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And you have to have a reasoning behind it. So see, you cannot say just looking at the requirement, oh, severity is high, probability is high, detection is high. What is your reason behind? So go through this workshop again, Rosil, read through it, what I was trying to explain today. Watch the video again. And still, if you have question, I'll revise it, repeat it. Don't be worried, guys. Unless you guys get it, I'm not going to move.
So, Dhruv sir, we can say that lots of people won't go through the document properties before working on that. We can say like that.
That's correct. Most of the people, they don't go and check, properties of all 2-3 documents. Human behavior, what they do, they just look at, okay, they just see approved, they just click that document. They don't even look, there are many versions approved. Am I right? That's why it says, higher. It's a medium detectability because, sometimes, with the human nature, you have to understand those things. So many things you have to think through when you are doing risk. That's the whole point. Risk is a brain work, critical thinking work. That's why risk engineers get paid most. If you are a good risk engineer, aerospace engineering gonna hire you because they have zero tolerance policy. 500 people can die. So they analyze each and everything based on the risk. What is the risk, if these things can go wrong? Because, the aeroplane is in the sky and 500 people is traveling. What if this can go wrong and it falls down and 500 people's life is gone? So automotive industry can hire you. And, of course, regulated industry, pharma, biotech, medical device are looking for risk engineers who understand the risk in engineering. Mostly, if you see South Asian country, they don't even bother about the risk. They just create a road like this. They just put the light like that. They don't even think that the light can fall. They do all kind of things because they don't have this skill set. They don't know how to understand the risk and how to analyze the risk and how to mitigate the risk. This is very, very vast subject. Risk is a huge subject. And if you're good in it, you are gonna make yourself a very, very sellable or, valuable kind of thing. So understand it to its core, how the risks are analyzed and how you can come up with mitigations, the best mitigations. And that's why this class is very important. And I wanted you guys to, pay attention to this, because it's hard to keep on repeating. Okay, so let's look at this requirement. Next requirement says the document management system will transition document in DCC approved pending release status to pre-release status automatically when the pre-release date is reached. So there is automation here. It says that, the document, after certain time from pre-approval to it gets to pre-released. It's supposed to, the system's supposed to do it by itself. We don't have to do it manually. Now, the point is analyzing the risk, what it can go wrong here. And if that goes wrong, what is the severity? Where it's gonna affect? How severe it's gonna be? And that is the question you have to ask. So let me ask you again, Roshan, what is the severity for this? Sonisha, any idea? Let me see if you're thinking in the right direction. Think it loud. Think out loud. Think. I want to see your reasonings. Speak up. Speak up your mind.
Thinking, but I'm not up to the point, but I think.
So why you are not up to the point? Did you understood the requirement first?
Yeah, I understand it. So it will automatically update
to pre-release state in a certain time. There is a period. In 14 days, it's supposed to automatically change it to pre-release.
Yeah, it's. I think it will be high because it's
Very
about
good.
the data details.
Because, give me the reason.
Yeah.
Because. Tell me, don't hesitate.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm still thinking.
No problem. Yes, Abbas. Meanwhile.
Yeah, I will agree with Sonisha too. For me, I will write the severity is high because in case if the system automatically doesn't convert or make the transition from the pending release to the pre-released, then we will never know if the document has been pre-released or not. So it might be stuck on the pending release status.
Okay, Ravi sir, do you agree? Severity?
I should say high because if that goes into automatically into pre-release status, someone might else other member or other team or other department might be still working on the same document. So if that goes with the deadline, automatically goes to pre-release date and it releases for whatever reason, then there could be so many other things being worked inside. So I think it will be high.
Okay, Krista, do you agree?
I do agree. I do agree.
Yeah, can I say? Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
Go ahead. Resenji, go ahead.
Yeah. I would say this is not high because I say there is nothing data will be breached. There is, as far as the date is concerned here, date is not really high because if date is like in 14 days something, right? Pre-release.
Yeah.
And I would put this not on the high risk, but somewhere in medium risk because this is only the release date is concerned. That's why I wouldn't put high. I would go
it
for
matters
medium.
a lot. It
I
matters a
would go
lot,
with
and it is high.
I would go with a high because
Okay.
of the thing that what if somebody tempers the date?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Many things you guys have to think. So you have these, exercise, and these are the answers, the best answers the expert came. And as a team, you can differ if you have a better reasoning, not just, if somebody said that. You have to have a better reasoning. Sometimes there are better mitigation. So these are the answers. You guys are going to practice this. And your homework.
So Dhruv, there is nothing like this in our requirement, in our documents. Like
exactly. That's what I was thinking.
So that's why you're gonna start thinking about your requirements. It's a thinking time.
This is something. Yeah, this is something to high level.
Put
like
your thinking caps on.
We didn't think like this way while making our URS efforts.
Exactly. That's why. It's okay. Welcome to validation engineering.
Like if we have used the label printer before, like in some manufacturing industry, so we might think this way, but we haven't used that one. So
this is way higher than what we were brainstorming, like with our group. It's like this is way deeper.
So
tell you what, I have uploaded the template and for you guys. So go to the template, okay, and let me show you real quick. And so this is your template, and in that template, you start filling, and your URS or FRS, here, and start doing this template. You don't have to fill anything else. Everything else is there. Just start filling your FRS. Just right click, insert, and rows below, and keep on filling this and do work, analyze the risk. And if you guys needs to repeat this class, I will repeat it again one more time to give you better clarity. But if you guys can figure it out, then we are good. So I will review your work again. You're gonna work in the same team, except one new member of the team. Any team wants to take Ravi sir, he have also very rational mind, so it might help you guys to doing your risk. Which team will take him? A, B, C, D?
Yeah, he's welcome in any one team.
Yeah.
He just decides.
He can say ABC. He can.
No, you have to call as a team lead.
Why didn't you come on our team, Group
Yeah.
D?
You're welcome here if you want.
Which team?
Whatever. Yeah.
Ravi sir is welcome to our team also. We are team A, Ravi sir.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, absolutely.
Our team name is
I can't put him in all teams, so give me one team. Team A, team B, team C, team D.
Maybe go by number, and whichever would have less numbers.
Okay, tell you what, let me put him in team C. Manojji.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. You need some, kind of support there, because team C is kind of, for up to now, in URS and FRS, they are falling a little behind. So maybe it will boost up your team. Remember, as a team, you got to be winner. So Manoj, Ravi sir, you gonna share your.
Thank you, the team, Ravi sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you're gonna share your information to Manojji, or you can just put it in the chat there in this class, and he will take it from there. So you guys gonna work on this. This is your next assignment. If you cannot figure it out, too much confusion, I will repeat the class again. Don't be worried. Not gonna let you guys fall behind. But whatever I said, watch the video for this class. Go through your workshop document. Go step by step, one page by other page. Pay some attention. Read through it. Again, I never told you it's gonna be easy. In 2 months, you're gonna become validation engineer. You know, for university, it takes 4 years to make an engineer. So it's not gonna be easy for you. But if you pay attention, it's gonna be easy. Trust me. So, you know, in the beginning, all my classes were confused a little bit, but then they figure it out. And then remember, you have a TA, teacher assistant, who can also gonna help you out to understand what is severity, what is probability, what is detectability, and then risk class and risk priority, you guys can figure out with that rubrics. Is that clear?
Yeah. So Dhruv sir, do you have by chance the fine document for URS FRS of level printer so that we can compare it with our documents, so we can see that in which.
Sorry, Milan sir, you're looking for a shortcut. It doesn't happen.
Shortcuts.
There's no shortcut here in my class.
No, I'm not asking for the risk assessment and everything.
You're not going to compare with any other best document, because you're going to have to learn from your mistake. You're going to have to revise your URS FRS going forward.
Oh, okay.
You understand? That's not the purpose. My device is to make you do mistakes and learn from your mistakes. This is how you're going to do it. I will review it, but there are certain mistakes I'm not going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you when you're going to do your IQ, OQ, PQ. So everything is connected. This is made such a way that if you follow the class, you're going to become validation engineer in 2 months. But if you miss out, don't be worried. Talk to me, ask me the questions. I'm ready here. I'm going to explain you again and again, everything. Nothing to be worried. Yes, Ravi sir.
You guys have to excuse me for this because I do not know the basics of what happened in previous two classes. It looks very intensive. It's not only about 3 hours attending the Zoom and gone.
No,
there are so many things involved, so much of work involved after that.
Totally.
So I have not gone through all those things. So I will be only.
Don't be worried, Ravi sir. They've been suffering. I like to give people pain.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
We'll work together, sir. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
I definitely
welcome
love
to the club.
Yeah, thank you. I love to have the connection of every people in my group. I'll be throwing my email there, or Dhruva sir can do that. He can throw that email to everyone.
Go here in the class and you see chat here.
You, sir.
Okay.
Click on the chat and put your phone number so Manojji can take it from there.
Okay, I'll do that.
Your team lead has to organize that, connection.
Okay.
Okay, that concludes the class today. We went beyond the time, and it's a very important class, and that's why it's okay. The time is not relevant thing. The most important thing is you guys have to understand these things. It's gonna build your career, long career. Everything it's gonna add value to your career. You're gonna be doing just fine. So even if you got 20-30%, don't be worried, guys. I'm here. I'll take you through. Okay, that's the whole purpose. That's why you needed me. You needed a guidance, a little teacher. Otherwise, there are things in Google you could not understand that. So that's why I'm here to explain you things. And go try as a team and discuss, brainstorm, fight, quarrel. Do whatever you need to do, debate, and come back to me. Let me know how accurate you guys are. Are you convinced or not? And if not, then we will repeat this class again. Okay, so I can explain you again in a little bit different perspective, different way, and maybe you can catch it. I understand these things are very foreign to your brain. You know, you have never been thinking that way. You know, you guys, you know, we all think about risk, but we never thought how to put it in engineering, you know, documentation, how we're going to do all these things. So it's new, of course it's new. And then, you know, it's going to give you a little bit hurdles, you know, thinking, a little bit struggle, but that's the whole point. You know, that's the whole point, you know. And so that concludes the class for today. I'm going to stop recording. I'll still be here 10 more minutes.